Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into one of literature's most enduring and chilling mysteries. The strange and unexplained death of Edgar Allan Poe. On September 27, 1849, Poe left Richmond, Virginia, on his way to Philadelphia. He never made it. What happened in the 6 days before he was found delirious in Baltimore remains a haunting puzzle. Let's set the scene. Poe was a literary giant, but his life was marked by tragedy, poverty, and struggles with alcohol. By 1849, things were looking up. He was engaged to his childhood sweetheart, Sarah Elmira Royster Shelton, and was planning to start a new literary magazine. He seemed hopeful. So, when he was discovered on October 3rd, slumped outside a public house in Baltimore, it was a shocking sight. He was found by a man named Joseph Walker, who saw Poe in a state of severe distress. Poe was wearing clothes that weren't his own, a cheap, ill-fitting suit, and he was semi-conscious, unable to explain what had happened to him. Walker sent a note to one of Poe's acquaintances, Dr. Joseph Snodgrass, who arranged for Poe to be taken to Washington College Hospital. For the next 4 days, Poe drifted in and out of consciousness. He was plagued by terrifying hallucinations, calling out for someone named Reynolds. He was never coherent enough to tell anyone how he ended up in such a state, where he had been, or why he was wearing another man's clothes. On the morning of October 7, 1849, Edgar Allan Poe died. His last words were reportedly, "Lord, help my poor soul." The official cause of death was listed as congestion of the brain, a vague term that could mean anything from a stroke to alcohol withdrawal. And that's where the mystery deepens, and the theories begin. The most common and long-standing theory is that Poe drank himself to death. This was heavily promoted by his literary rival, Rufus Griswold, who wrote a scathing obituary in Biography painting Poe as a depraved alcoholic. It's true Poe had a history of binge drinking, but many who saw him before his trip said he was sober and in good spirits. Could a single relapse have led to such a bizarre end? Some experts argue that Poe was extremely sensitive to alcohol, and even a small amount could have had a devastating effect. But many people, including his doctor, didn't believe alcohol was the sole cause. This leads us to our second theory: cooping. In the 19th century, cooping was a form of election fraud. Gangs would kidnap unsuspecting victims, drug them, or force-feed them alcohol, and then drag them from one polling place to another to vote multiple times, often changing their clothes to avoid suspicion. The day Poe was found was an election day in Baltimore. His disheveled appearance, the strange clothes, and his confused state all fit the profile of a cooping victim. This theory suggests Poe wasn't on a drunken binge, but was a victim of a violent political crime. Then there's the medical side. Modern analysis of Poe's symptoms has led to a whole host of other possibilities. One compelling theory is rabies. Dr. R. Michael Benitez proposed this in 1996. The symptoms of rabies: delirium, hallucinations, and a fear of water are eerily similar to what Poe experienced in the hospital. He reportedly refused water and had difficulty swallowing. The period between being bitten and showing symptoms can be weeks or even months, so he could have been infected long before his final journey. Another medical theory points to a brain tumor. A study of Poe's skull years after his death suggested there might have been a calcified mass. A tumor could explain his erratic behavior and sudden decline in health. It's a plausible explanation that doesn't rely on his personal habits. What about a simple mugging? Poe was traveling, and while he didn't have much money, he might have been seen as an easy target. A violent robbery could have left him with a concussion or other head injury, leading to the delirium and confusion. This would explain his missing clothes and money, but maybe not the 4 days of intense, specific hallucinations. There are even more out there theories. Some suggest he was poisoned by his fiancée's brothers, who didn't approve of the marriage. Others point to carbon monoxide poisoning from gaslighting, which was becoming common at the time. A few even whisper about a deadly case of the flu, which was rampant. Each theory has its supporters and its flaws. The alcohol theory is clouded by the character assassination from his rival. The cooping theory fits the circumstances, but lacks direct evidence. The rabies theory matches the symptoms perfectly, but we'll never know for sure if he was bitten by an animal. The brain tumor and mugging theories are plausible but unprovable. What makes this mystery so captivating is that Edgar Allan Poe, the master of the macabre, and the inventor of the detective story, left behind a final mystery that even his own brilliant detective, Auguste Dupin, would struggle to solve. His own death became his greatest and most tragic tale. He was buried in an unmarked grave, and it took decades for him to receive the recognition and proper monument he deserved. Today, his grave in Baltimore is a site of pilgrimage. For many years, a mysterious visitor known as the Poe toaster would leave 3 roses and a bottle of cognac on his grave on his birthday, adding another layer of mystique to his legacy. So, what do you think happened to Edgar Allan Poe? Was it a tragic personal failing, a violent crime, a rare disease, or something else entirely? The truth was lost in those 6 missing days, and in the fevered mind of a genius in his final hours. All we are left with are the clues, the theories, and the chilling realization that some stories don't have a final chapter. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into one of history's most fascinating cold cases. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more explorations into the unknown. Let me know your favorite theory in the comments below. See you next time.